Well,
Awesome, awesome. I didn't want to forget that reminder. So
oh, I even got it on my computer screen right here, and I forget it sometimes.
I love it. Well, welcome to all of you. I am just so excited that there's just the few of us that are here. But man, we cover a lot of space and a lot of states, and that's so exciting. So I'm so glad that many of you took out the time and the early morning maybe to come for this webinar. So thank you very much. My name is Lisa Newman, and I am a family and community wellness extension agent for K-State Extension. I serve residents in Saline and Ottawa County. And for those of you that aren't in Kansas, that's central Kansas primarily. I live about 80 miles north of Wichita, if that kind of helps you get an idea of where I am. This lesson, Kindness Matter, is really a exciting one for me. And I shared just a little bit ago of kind of how it started. But this lesson unpacks the health benefits of kindness, explores intentional and random acts of kindness, and it provides ways to incorporate kindness into daily routines and workplaces so that we have healthier and happier lives. What I'd like for you guys to do before we kind of get started and get going is just take a moment and I want you to kind of think about and write down any kind of acts of kindness that you have recently observed. And it could be there in your home, it could be in a workplace or at church, in your neighborhood, an organization. Anything is game, and it can be as big or as small, but just jot down any recent acts of kindness that you have witnessed or been a part of. And I'll give you guys maybe 20, 30 seconds to kind of think about that and write those down. And we will share those later in the program. Maybe about 10 more seconds. All right. So there are objectives to this lesson, and as I shared, if you are interested in finding this fact sheet or the leader's guide to offer to your group, we can share that information. For this lesson, the objectives for the user is so that hopefully you'll be able to increase your knowledge about the health and wellness impacts of kindness, that you'll understand that acts of kindness can be intentional or spontaneous, and both kinds are really important, that you'll gain awareness that kindness is a behavior and a mindful habit, and it takes time and practice. Hopefully, that you'll understand how kindness and civility affect workplace productivity, stress, and culture. Hopefully, you'll commit to individual, workplace, and community acts of kindness if you don't already. And you'll be able to identify resources for increasing kindness in your life and the lives of others. I'll share some resources towards the end of the program. So let's begin by defining kindness. It's more than just being nice or polite. Kindness is a genuine, intentional act of compassion meant to help or uplift someone else. And the great thing about kindness is that it's free, it's contagious, and it can be learned and practiced every day. And sometimes it's easy to confuse kindness with niceness. Niceness is polite and it's pleasant, but sometimes it can lack the depth or intention that true kindness brings. Because kindness is rooted in empathy and it takes genuine care, effort, and a desire to make a positive impact. That's kind of the difference. And I like to think of kindness as a daily habit or a practice. And when you do that over time, it becomes almost reflexive. It's like the more we do it, the more natural it feels, right? And I always have to feel like I do a disclaimer at this point, and I say, just to be clear, I'm not perfect at being kind 24/7. None of us are. I have days or times when I fall short, but kindness really matters enough to me that, when I trip or stumble, I try to wake up or do the next right thing and do a little better. Niceness can sometimes be more focused on like social expectations. That's one way I try to explain it, or politeness without that same level of authenticity or impact as kindness. And often use the example of just being nice and opening a door for someone. Yeah, it's that kind of thing, is what makes the difference between niceness and kindness. And here's where it gets really interesting and really what motivated me to create this lesson, because there's some science behind kindness, and that's really important. Kindness literally benefits your heart, both emotionally and physically. When we practice kindness, our bodies release oxytocin, which is sometimes called the bonding hormone or the love hormone. You might have heard one of those kinds of terminology. That really helps us feel connected and builds trust. Oxytocin also reduces inflammation and lowers our blood pressure, which leads to real measurable improvements in our heart health. So, good stuff there. On the emotional side, kindness lowers cortisol, which is our main stress hormone. And kindness also boosts serotonin, which helps regulate our mood and promotes a sense of calm and happiness. And one of the things I always kind of make mention of is a lot of you have probably heard the term runner's high. Oftentimes, if you're a runner, you'll get what's called a runner's high after you run a long distance. That same kind of natural high happens when we help others. It's often called the helper's high. So instead of running the 13 or 26 miles for a marathon and getting that runner's high, you can expand your kindness and get that helper's high and get that same kind of feeling. So I'm going to share this video. It's a short video that illustrates a lot of these powerful effects, and we'll go from there.
Sometimes it's easy to feel like the world's getting harder. But if we look closer, on the news, on the web, on the street, we're anything but unkind. Every day, we hear new stories of people trying to make the world a better place. And together, we can make the world that little bit kinder for all of us. It all starts with just one person, you. The thing about kindness is that it's just about the only thing in the world that doubles when you share it. And it's a fact, backed by science. Studies have shown that if you perform just one random act of kindness a day, you'll not only reduce your stress, anxiety, and depression, but your body is flooded with the same hormones that make you and the person you've helped calmer, healthier, and happier. Serotonin, which heals your wounds, helps you relax and makes you feel good. Endorphins, which reduce pain. And oxytocin, which reduces blood pressure and makes you feel more loving and loved. You'll both be more energized, feel less aches and pains, more confident, and could even live longer. And if other people see you helping someone else, they'll be filled with those same feel-good hormones, meaning they're significantly more likely to pay it forward. Like taking that extra moment to hold the elevator for someone, spotting a coffee for a stranger who's just a few cents short, giving your neighbor a hand with their groceries, even just smiling and meaning it. It doesn't take much, but it can make a huge difference for everyone. Those people you've helped will help other people, and those other people will help even more people. And those random acts of kindness can start a chain reaction that can spread across an entire community, a city, a country, and with enough of us, the world. Now, isn't that the world we all want? And it all starts with one.
Isn't that exciting? I love that clip. All right. So, as I mentioned, today we're going to talk about two types of kindness. There is intentional and then there's random or spontaneous. Those terms are kind of used interchangeably. Kindness doesn't have to be a big or grand gesture. It's really about building a habit. And what I like to think of as strengthening your kindness muscle. Small actions matter here, writing a simple thank you note or giving someone your full attention or even showing kindness to yourself. All of that counts. And I can't emphasize being kind to ourselves enough. That's so important. These small moments become powerful when we practice them consistently day after day. And so some of the examples that are on this slide that I like to point out are just easy ways that you can be kind. The first one is just morning gratitude texts or notes. And there was a presenter that I heard speak, I believe he was with Iowa State Extension several years ago. And he shared this example that on his phone, he sets a timer and every day it goes off like at 10:10 in the morning. It's a set time. And that is his alert to whoever's on his mind or in his heart to send them a quick text or a note and let him know that he's thinking of them or good luck or, whatever, however it fits for him. And he knows that. And I was like, that's a really neat idea. And that's really kind of stuck with me through these last few years. So something like that could be an example. Just practicing courtesy, of course, is a good way to extend kindness. Being present and being a good listener is a great way to extend kindness. Volunteering. There are a lot of studies out there and research that shows the benefits and how it's good for us to volunteer. There's research and there are reports about the more connected we are and the more socially engaged we are as either workers or volunteers, the more mentally healthy we are and the more active we are. So there's a physical health benefit associated with volunteering as well. And then I can't stress enough just how important it is to practice self-kindness and whatever that looks like for you. And, as I've mentioned before, the secret is to make kindness a habit. And so one of the ways that I hope that we'll do that after this webinar is we're going to do a short activity together. So on that same sheet of paper that you jotted down your example of kindness, I'd like for you to take a few moments and write down a week's worth of planned kindness. Now, this is not hard, and I promise it'll be easy. Take each day of the week and identify a small kindness activity that you can do for others or for yourself. And I'll kind of give you an example of one that I've used in the past to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So just to kind of make things easy, let's say I'm going to do my Monday through Sunday and give you an idea of what that could look like for you. So I'm going to write down Monday. And on Monday, I might send a positive message or text to a friend, a colleague, family member. Just that simple. Tuesday, maybe I might pay for someone's coffee or a small treat. Wednesday comes, and maybe I have some time. I might volunteer at a local charity that is near and dear to my heart. Thursday comes and I might practice self-care and treat myself with kindness and whatever that might look like for me at that time. Friday rolls around, I might make a note that I'm going to try to compliment at least 3 people that day as the opportunity appears. Saturday comes, the weekend, maybe I'm going to write a thank you note to someone who helped me or helped, made a highlight of my week. And then Sunday, for me, I use that as a time to reflect on the week. So Sunday, I'm going to reflect on my week and practice gratitude. And then I'm also going to use that time to draft what my next upcoming week is going to be like. So that's what I'd like for you to do. I'm going to give you 2 or 3 minutes to kind of outline what your week is going to look like for the next 7 days. And, this slide talks about ways to help make that a habit. And obviously, for those tasks or activities, I should say, you're going to want to do something that's enjoyable because you're more apt to do things that you enjoy doing, right? Be authentic to who you are. That's probably one of the most important things, and that's what's going to help make it a natural habit of kindness. Of course, keep others in mind as well as yourself. And then, be mindful of any causes or programs or agencies that you want to support or volunteer. You might be able to find ways to kind of plug those in as well. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do your weeks of kindness, your upcoming week of kindness. Give you one more minute.
This is a great idea.
It just takes, that exercise and repetition. And having something in front of you helps too, that you can go back and remember. A nice reminder for each day. 30 seconds. All right. And the hope is, there is intention behind having you do this. My hope is that you will then have this week of kindness outlined for you, whether you started today or Monday, or, you'll find kind of a rhythm that works best for you. But it is my hope in the plan that once you get through this week, that you'll, monitor how that felt, what happened, and then draft your next week's until it really kind of becomes a habit. Because as you know, habits take time to establish. You think about a physical activity habit, um, it needs consistent and meaningful habit of being kind, and all of those things can be established over time. When kindness becomes a habit, it really reinforces itself. And the key is to align it with your values and choose acts that feel meaningful and very natural to you. That's kind of the secret behind that. And so if we kind of shift a little bit, spontaneous kindness, that is something that doesn't overthink. There's no plan behind it. It's simply just an authentic, positive response to a moment or situation that presents itself. So you wake up in the morning and head to town. You have no idea that something's going to present itself, and that you're able to just, extend spontaneous or a random act of kindness. Random acts of kindness can truly brighten someone's day and create ripples that extend, far beyond that one moment. And I think for this, it's that surprise factor that really makes them more powerful. And the best illustration or example that I can provide that a lot of people can relate to or have seen is that if you've been a part of like a pay it forward kind of thing, where you've been at Starbucks or McDonald's or something like that, and someone has paid for your coffee ahead of you. It's that kind of thing that I'm talking about. It's so powerful. And if you've been the recipient of that, I hope you can kind of remember how that made you feel. If you have not yet, I am excited for when that does happen to you, or if you've been the person that has paid it forward for someone behind you. It's such a powerful feeling, and it just feels so good. And one of the things that's really also special about those kind of opportunities, especially if they happen like at a Starbucks or McDonald's or something like that, even the employees feel the joy and reap the benefits of being part of something unexpectedly good in that moment. So that's the contagious nature of kindness and what's so powerful. Um, the random act of kindness movement, so to speak, actually began over 40 years ago. They can kind of trace it back that far in the San Francisco Bay Area. There was an author, and she wrote an article about practicing these random acts of kindness. And people just grabbed onto that idea so quickly, and it just spread. And in 1993, there was a book that was published titled Random Acts of Kindness. And then in 1995, the Random Acts of Kindness Foundation was formed. So there's an actual foundation about it. They have a wonderful website. Continues to share tools, tips. There's even classroom curriculum that help people of all ages make kindness a daily practice. It's a fabulous website, and I'll share it with you here towards the end. It's also a great resource as you're working on your week of kindness challenge. Might have some inspiration or some ideas that you could pull from. So good stuff there. And here's just a few examples or ideas that you can kind of think of when we're talking about random acts of kindness. They don't have to cost much, and sometimes they don't cost anything at all, but they offer deep, deep value, and you can try to incorporate some of them into your week of kindness efforts. Again, we use the example of paying for someone's coffee. If you feel comfortable and the opportunity presents itself, just complimenting someone can go a long way. Maybe helping a neighbor could be a random acts of kindness. You leave your house, and when you come back home, you didn't intend to help Sally who lives next door, but you can tell that maybe she's outside and needs some help with something. That's a random acts of kindness that can present itself. Leave a note for someone, just a little thinking of you kind of thing. I have a sticky note on my desk actually that is a good example of this, that I had a coworker just leave me a note and said that she was thinking of me, and I just kind of have it here, and it makes me smile when I look over there. Just kind of a little special thing. All right. So now I think is a good time to go back to the beginning when I had you write down some of the examples of acts of kindness that you've witnessed here recently. And some of those could be intentional, and some of them could be random that just kind of happened on their own. And if you feel comfortable, I would encourage you to include some of those in our chat box so we can kind of all see how things are and what your examples are. I'll give you a couple of minutes to chat, put some of those in the chat. Ah, preparing firewood would be an awesome one, Scott, for sure. Home visits for maybe some homebound friends and family members. Receive a congratulations card from a dear friend. So important. Lovely. Yep. Yeah. Meals to those in need. Sit with someone um, at a meeting who seemed isolated. Yes, yes. Those are all wonderful examples. Thank you so much for sharing those. Fellowshipping with the lonely. Yeah, yeah. Those are great. Thank you for sharing. Oh, I keep having to look. Hi, Faye. At a local Dillon store, met shoppers with small children, directed them to the fruit stand where they're able to take fruit. Yeah. Charitable donations, for sure.
This is kind of a long one, so I'm not going to take the time to write it.
Please do, Bonnie. Please.
We have a program that our FCE does. It's called Warm a Vet. And we ask for donations of socks and stocking caps and mittens and gently used coats and blankets and whatnot. And we have a lot of homeless in our area where my store is, and we have a homeless woman that comes in quite often. And we have supplied her with a blanket, even though she's not a vet, and but she's needful. Well, the other day she brought in a freshly washed, I don't know where she got it, a scarf, a really warm muffler type scarf for the vets because she had been helped and she wanted to pay it forward.
That's a powerful testimony and an act of kindness. Very special. Thank you for sharing that, Bonnie.
Sure.
Barbara shared one that makes my heart smile every time it happens. Letting someone in line at the grocery store who has fewer items go ahead of you, or letting you go ahead. That's always so nice. Telling people I'm doing great now that you're here, just making folks feel seen and valued and heard. You guys are awesome. These are all great examples too that you might want to copy down for your week of kindness activities. Thanks for sharing. So this lesson does include, shifting gears just a little bit, a focus on kindness in the workplace, and I think that's really important as well. I think what did someone say? Oh, those are great, great. Check out the chat box. Um, Kindness in the workplace isn't just a nice to have kind of thing, if you think about it. It's really a powerful driver of morale, being engaged, productivity. Teams that practice kindness communicate better. They feel more connected and they experience less stress and burnout. In turn, that leads to a healthier, more positive work environment and better results overall, if you think about it. In service fields like healthcare, the impact is really clear, and research shows that physicians who work in kind and supportive environments are more likely to stay. And you're probably saying, yeah, Lisa, that makes a lot of sense. And that's probably true in all disciplines, right? But the other part that I found so amazing in that research is that when that's the case with physicians, what they also see that cause and effect is that patients actually recover faster. And so there's that really powerful cause and effect with regard to that research. Kindness truly benefits everyone, from employees to clients to the people we serve. It's kind of like a domino effect in that way. Kindness and civility are closely related, but they're not the same. Both shape how we communicate, how we collaborate, how we handle stress at work. Again, kindness is that genuine act of compassion and generosity and care that's really meant to benefit someone else. Civility is showing respect and helping others feel valued. When these two things are combined, it creates a workplace culture where people feel safe, they feel supported, and they feel motivated. It's a very, very powerful thing. Unfortunately, civility is declining a little bit in what we're reading in our research, but research is also really clear. When kindness and respect are present, organizations thrive. And there are ways and steps that we can improve both of those things. And it always makes me think of Maya Angelou's comment about, when you know better, you do better kind of thing. So it's just a reminder to everyone that kindness and civility truly can, change a workplace for the better. So, how can we be kinder at work? Small steps, it could be really, really small steps like saying thank you, or, listening attentively again, or offering help if someone, looks like they might need a little bit of help. All of these things can create a big culture shift in the workplace. And again, I can't stress this enough. There are no zero drawbacks to kindness. Take every opportunity you can to extend kindness for sure. There are some really great recommendations and resources on that Random Acts of Kindness website. And one of them that I kind of call attention to is there's kind of a booklet or a guide called 7 Steps to Creating Kindness in the Workplace. It's a leader's guide that folks can use in their workplace. And the 7 steps, or like little chapters, are setting a tone, modeling behavior, creating a safe and supportive environment, strengths, mistakes, and growth mindset, trust, boundaries, and belonging, communication and collaboration. And then there's the last section is about celebration. And so there are lots of great resources out there if you want more information about workplace kindness. And again, I just can't stress enough, there's no real drawbacks to kindness. Take every opportunity to extend kindness. And in my head, when I think about this, I literally think about just someone with confetti and just throwing it everywhere. That's how I feel about it. The science and the stories all lead to this. Kindness improves life, yours and others. It helps build stronger, more connected communities. If you think about the oxytocin information and from that video earlier, my challenge to you would be to look for opportunities to be kind, especially right now. They're there every single day. It's kind of like the saying, what you focus on, you get more of. That's how this is. And it can be a very, very powerful thing. So, what will your next kind act be? Whether it's planned or spontaneous, your actions matter. Choose kindness, share it, let it grow. And while I have you in your paper and pencil there, I'd encourage you to put a couple dates on your calendar. February 17th is actually Random Acts of Kindness Day. So that was just a few weeks ago. That's an actual day, Random Acts of Kindness Day on February 17th. And then on November 13th, that is World Kindness Day. So keep these dates in mind as you work on your Week of Kindness scheduling efforts. So again, February 17th, Random Acts of Kindness, and November 13th, World Kindness Day. A couple of fun things that you can kind of keep in mind there. If you're inspired to go deeper, which I hope you are, these are just a few great starting points. You'll find kindness calendars, lots of different ideas, inspiring stories, and there's a lot more that I can share as well, but these will get you really connected well. That randomactsofkindness.org, again, is chock full of wonderful information and has been around for a very, very long time. There's kindness.org. This greatergood.berkeley.edu. I have had that website bookmarked on my professional work computers for at least 20 years. That site is a treasure trove of information about kindness and any and all other kinds of positive psychology content. There is just so much good information from their site. I encourage you to check it out as well. And then positivepsychology.com is another really good website that has information. We will share a link to the K-State Extension bookstore that has the fact sheet and then the leader's guide. And the leader's guide that goes with this lesson does have a lot more resources that you can look into. So we're nearing the end of our time together, and I wanted to leave you with one of my favorite quotes. Most of you probably recognize this wonderful person. It is Mr. Rogers, and he actually had a quote about kindness. I'm not sure if you maybe knew about that, but I thought I would like to share it with you. And he said, "There are three ways to ultimate success. The first way is to be kind. The second way is to be kind. And the third way is to be kind." All right. I want to thank you for your time this morning. I invite you to take on the 7-day kindness challenge that we set yourself up for this morning and continue that. Keep it going. Notice how it makes you feel, in the next few weeks and how it affects others, because you are going to be creating ripples that I can probably feel from Alaska or from Hawaii, from Tennessee, all the different places that you are. It's very powerful stuff. And then I'll leave this up for just a little bit. If you have a smartphone or if you have something to write with, before you jump off, just please grab that QR code and fill out a very brief survey about this lesson. Really appreciate your feedback very much. And thank you for the opportunity to share our lesson with all of you. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Well, Lisa, that was a fantastic presentation. Why don't you, can you just close that so that, oh, wait, no, leave that up there. That's fine. We can talk. There's enough of us there. And some things I really liked on that, and I've known this forever, is the health benefits from kindness. And it does make us live longer. It gives us a purpose in life, to go on. And just, lowers
And I
your
think
blood pressure. It does all those great and wonderful things. And,
that was kind of the foundation piece of really what tipped me over about it.
Yeah. Well, and I don't mean to get too into the scriptures too much, but if you read in the scriptures, it talks a lot about kindness. it may not be called those words, but it is, and loving one another. And I did type that into
Very
the
true. Very true.
I typed that into the chat box, and that is this year for our high school, our national FCE high school essay contest is on respect, and that goes right along with kindness. Just respecting others.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, anybody else got any comments on there? Questions?
Lisa, did you say that you would make you did say the leader guide, but will you also make your PowerPoint available for those of us who would like to
Yes.
use that?
Yeah. Would it be okay if I emailed it to Scott and then he can share that out, or is there an easier way?
That'd
That would be
be
perfect.
that'd be perfect since she's my wife.
You
She's in
got,
the
you
other room.
got it. Email,
That'll work really perfect.
PowerPoint. You got it. I'll do that this afternoon. I do have a meeting right after this, but when I get back to my desk, I will get these tasks done. And I'll send the JPEG to you of that cover slide, Scott, as well.
Okay, well, if you just send the PowerPoint to me, I can pull
That's
it off.
true. That's true.
I can I've learned a little bit about it. I love technology,
That's true.
but
This absolutely was one of the most timely lessons um, in view of everything that's going on worldwide and nationwide, and it just reiterates to me how important it is to just be kind.
Yeah.
yep. So now that Bonnie's been taught how to be kindness, now she can be kind to me.
Right.
Well, she is. She must be pretty kind because we're working on our 55th year together. So,
Oh,
well, as
that's
husband
amazing.
and wife, she's
That's
been my
awesome.
girlfriend for a long time. And Lisa, I appreciate this, and I will get those on there. I see, I'll go back on the chats and look at those over there. I know you probably got a meeting to get to, and appreciate that. So,
Oh, I'm good. I enjoyed our time together, and like I said, I love that friends were from near and far. We got a fun sampling of folks, and it's just so nice to connect with all of you in this way and to share this lesson and encourage you to share it to units and groups that you're involved with, and would love any feedback that you have if you offer it as well. So again, thank you so much for the opportunity.
well,
Thank you.
I do record I am recording it. Thanks to you who remind me to turn it on, and it does go on YouTube. And I do get some
Awesome.
reports back, so there'll be some other people that are watching it, members that they're not necessarily FC members, but I do get a little report back on those who view it. And then also, I know I have several people that go onto our website and watch them that weren't able to be here today.
That's great.
So
That's
thank you
great.
very
And
much for your time.
yes, and thank you. And fill out the evaluation if you were able to snag that QR code. I can share that with you as well via email. Your feedback is appreciated, and have a good rest of your day.
All right,
You
thank you. I'm
too,
going
and
to turn the
thank you so
recorder off
much.
You're
and
so